In today's video, I am going to be taking a look at Dylan Harper and how he shoots the basketball. Dylan Harper is one of the better college players this year and is a potential, in my opinion, top 3 NBA draft pick this coming year. So let's get down, let's check him out and see how he shoots the basketball so that we can learn how to shoot the ball better ourselves. Really quickly, if you want to be able to shoot the ball from further away, make sure to go check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below. Okay, so one of the things that a lot of players underestimate is their footwork. And of course, their shot preparation. So if we actually watch Dylan Harper right here, on his approach, he goes left foot first, and that's where he is gathering the ball. If we zoom in, and we watch, now he goes and hops onto 2. Why is this important? He went from the left foot to 2 feet. Well, there is a such thing as a gather. No matter what level you are on, you have to obviously gather the ball. Now, when it comes to AAU, as well as NCAA, which is obviously what he is playing right here, you're allowed a gather +1. While NBA, as well as the FIBA rules, which the entire world uses, except for the USA, when it comes to amateur level basketball, you are allowed a gather +2. So in reality, if he was to do this in the NBA or in FIBA, he could technically take one more step, but here he is not able to. However, going left foot into 2 feet allows him to get his feet set. And this is important because this is going to allow him to go straight up and straight down. He isn't going to go and fling out to his right or left side, and he's not going to be fading away. And if he does float forward, it's not going to be a massive jump forward because, of course, there is a defender right here. He doesn't want to do that, and going straight up and straight back down will allow him to have the most consistent shot possible. When he goes up for his shot, he basically goes straight up, straight down. I'm not going to count the fact that he jumped a foot forward, roughly maybe 8 inches, somewhere around there. I'm not counting that. But shot preparation, foot preparation is extremely important. The next thing that I really like to look at is having his elbow above his forehead or at forehead height. That is another thing that is extremely important because that is going to give him the arc that is needed on his shot. There's a lot of coaches who will do this measurement right here, where they will measure your actual release angle. I'm not going to do that. Even though I did that here, I'm not doing that because that gets you way over analyzing your shot, in my opinion. As long as your elbow is above your forehead, you're going to be fine. Now, of course, if it's straight up and straight back down, that's a little bit off. But if you can be somewhere angled with your arm angled away from your body with your elbow above your forehead, you're going to be fine. Next thing that I really want to point out is his shot. In his shot preparation, he gathers the ball at his hips, which is fine. This is his gathered point. And watch how he's able to have energy transfer all the way up. We can kind of see it right here if we can get back to this spot. And after he gathers right there, watch what he does. He plants both feet right here. Ball is still at the waist. Back is still bent at 90 degrees. His elbow is not necessarily at 90. And I know there's a lot of coaches will say 90, 90, and 90 at the wrist. But that's not necessarily needed. He's looking at the rim. This is another important tip. So many players will look down and try and figure out how they're gathering the ball. That has to be done by feel. You should be looking at the rim. This is going to allow you to see your defender, but also the rim itself. Obviously, you need a target to be able to shoot at. When he extends his back, he's extending his knees afterwards. So he extends his back first and then his legs. At this point, he is in his set point. And this is actually a pretty picture perfect setup right here because what we see is he has a pretty well 90 degree, maybe a little bit less on his shoulders. He's going to be about 90-ish, in this case about 81 degrees on his elbow, and I'm not going to measure his wrist, you can't really see it, but it's probably close to 80 to 90 degrees. Old school coaches will say you need 90, 90 again, and 90. While that may be perfect, it's never going to happen. And then when he does shoot, he doesn't rotate his body forward, even though this is a much farther shot than where he may normally take it from. A lot of players will try to rotate their body to try to get extra power. That doesn't work, and it throws the ball out towards the right side if you're a left-handed player. So don't do that. Go straight up, straight down, as Dylan Harper is doing right here. We can also see that he's slightly tilted away from the basket. A lot of coaches will say you need to be direct shoulder square, hip square to the basket. He is not, and no good shooter really is. If we get him into right there, the net is in this direction, but his feet, knees, hips, and shoulders are all facing away from the basket. However, one thing in common with all of it is they are all pointing in the exact same direction. You need that for a consistent shot to make sure that your shoulder, elbow, and ball are all in line with the rim. In my opinion, your body has a lot to do with your shot as long as it is all in line, but your body does not need to be square with the basket. What needs to be in line is shoulder, elbow, ball. If you can get this in line, you're set. Here's a backside view of Dylan Harper shooting as well, and we can see he likes to get his feet set. If we rewind just a little bit, after this crossover, hops onto 2 feet at the exact same time. Now his left foot seems to be in just a little bit. Some players like to do this, but the rest of his body is pretty much in line, which is the most important. And yes, we can see from right here, it's kind of hard because his body's in the way, but shoulder, elbow, ball are all in line with the basket. His release is straight. He has a soft release, and actually I think we might have a frame that we can actually pause on to see what release fingers he actually uses. And while that was very fast, it looked like his middle finger. It might have gone off his pointer and middle, which would be making a lot of sense, especially with his wrist flicking slightly out towards the left as a left-handed shooter. That would actually make sure that the ball does at least go in, but he would have had a straighter shot if he didn't have his wrist bend to that left side, in my opinion. I hope that this Dylan Harper shooting form video helps you shoot the ball better. If it does, hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure to go check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below, and I'll see you guys again in my next video.